Squad Battles is one of those game modes where it's not the most popular within the game, but it's likely that during your week of playing, you've had a few games where you would jump into Squad Battles and play through to see where you can get, how many points you can build up, and what your reward will be at the end of the week. It's still an integral part of FIFA 23 Ultimate Team, and it's a great way in order for you to progress with really putting up next to no effort. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the correct way in which you can exploit this game mode, as in the most efficient way in which you can go through. If you're new to Ultimate Team, Squad Battles is an offline game mode. You're playing against the AI and not other players. When first going in, you're able to select the difficulty of the game with the AI that you'll be playing up against, and this will change how many points you'll receive at the end of each game. Points are important because that's what you'll use to go through the different tiers. Whereas the likes of Division Rivals, where each game that you win will move you across by one space unless you're on a winning streak, with Squad Battles, it's nothing like that. Of course, winning games will benefit you, but you're rewarded with points at the end, and depending on the difficulty, you could rack up thousands of points within just one game, allowing you to climb through the tiers a lot quicker. But the tiers themselves are different every single week. There's not a set amount of points you need in order for you to reach the different tiers that are available. This is because it's based on an average for the whole community. If there happens to be loads of people going through Squad Battles within a week, the required amount of points for you to reach a tier is a lot more compared to what it would be in other weeks. But more or less, the more points you get, the higher your tier, the higher the tier, the better your reward will be. Rewards are paid out every single Sunday. Now, if you're looking to get the most out of Ultimate Team, Squad Battles isn't the first game mode that you should look to. Your priority should really be Division Rivals first to get your 8 wins, as well as build up to 1,250 qualification points. With those qualification points, you can use them to enter into FUT Champions. This is the FUT Champions playoff. Once you reach 20 points within this game mode, you will be gifted a qualification token, and that token can be redeemed for an entry into the FUT Champions final. This is where you're going to get the most rewards, but if all of that is done, this is really the time in which you should be entering into Squad Battles, because every other game mode which is available is just not going to be as rewarding, and for the other game modes that are more rewarding, hopefully you've already completed them. Now, this is all basic information, but I wanted to put it in there for those that are first starting out with FIFA Ultimate Team for the very first time. You now know. Now is actually time in which we start to get more specific in how you can be extremely efficient with this and constantly be able to make coins. Most people, when going into Squad Battles, they'll use their normal first main team, their normal starting 11, likely a team that they're already using to go through Division Rivals and FUT Champions. But there's actually a way in which you can squeeze as many coins out of every single player within your club without using your main starting 11. And this is by using other players which are already within your club. Now, the likelihood is that your Ultimate Team isn't just 11 players of your starting 11 plus subs. It's likely that you've got a hell of a lot more, and you're not using them because you're just sitting on them waiting until an SBC comes out, and that is the point in which you can use them. But because Squad Battles is against the AI, you don't really need to be using the best of the best every single game. You don't need to be using your main team. So a recommendation to really get the most out of every single player in your club is to go and use players that you're not currently using. By default, whether or not you've packed them through tradable or untradeable packs, they will have 7 contracts available. With chemistry also not being as big of a deal within FIFA 23 as well as being within previous years, you could just put together a random starting 11. And then it's just a case of using that as your team when going through Squad Battles. With every single game that you play, you will lose contracts on those players. But once they get down to 0, you just swap them out and get other players which are in your club that do have contracts. This way you're able to squeeze every little coin out of the players that you have within your club without it taken away from your main team. And when it comes around to completing SBCs, these players are still useful. Just because they haven't got contracts on doesn't mean that they can't be used for different types of challenges. They can. You can still submit them. If the players that you have are actually tradable and you're not looking to submit them into SBCs, but instead instead you're looking to sell them onto the transfer market, you can still do this. Just don't bring them all the way down to 0 contracts, leave at least 1 left. This is simply because it takes slightly longer in order for you to sell a player with no contracts than if they did have contracts. When going through squad battles, don't just go through complete games and try to build up as many points as possible. That is important, but you also want to make sure that you're going through different types of objectives. Objectives for themselves with squad battles are frequent. There'll be a lot of times when EA will push a new challenge which requires you to either go through division rivals or squad battles. They want to make sure that content is accessible to everyone at all levels. And these challenges will vary. They may require you to assist with a certain type of player, a certain type of nationality, get goals, maybe play with a certain amount of players within a team from a specific league or nationality. There's so many different variations of this. And throughout the year, there'll be loads of these to complete. And they are extremely easy to do when you can do them within squad battles. This is so important that you'll probably get more rewards at a higher value with there being better players by completing challenges through objectives from what you'll get from your weekly reward after playing for a full week within squad battles itself. This of course does depend on what type of challenges are available, but most of the time there is something. Every single week, EA pushes something new. My recommendation is to first look at your objectives, see what's currently available, build a team which can be used to complete multiple challenges at the exact same time, and then once that is finished, that is when you'll start picking the random players within your club and using them until they get down to their final contract. This way you're able to get packs from the objectives themselves. You may also be able to get new players which are used depending on the promo which is active, and then on top of that you're squeezing every little coin out of every single player which is in your club, and then finally you're still getting your weekly reward at the end as part of participating within squad battles itself. This is the most efficient way in which you can go through this, but there is one extra layer to this if you want to be extremely efficient, and so far I've only seen a couple players do this. This is really taking it to the extreme. For this, you'll first head over to the transfer market and you'll look at different players that you want to use. You may even start to draft out a team that you want to put together and play with. If you're fairly new to Ultimate Team, your budget is going to be next to nothing. But still you're able to do this, where you build a full starting 11 of different types of players that you're able to bid on or get a buy now option which is below market value. You will then use those players going through squad battles, playing as many games as possible until their contracts run out, in which you will then sell those players for a profit. Remember, you've been able to buy them below market value on a bid, or maybe you just got lucky when sniping to buy them below everything else. So once it comes round to selling, as long as it didn't take too long for you to play through these games, we're talking about just a couple days for you to play 7 games, which are the contracts available on players if you bought them somewhat fresh, then you will be able to go and sell them on for a profit or potentially even just break even. Now, because you've been able to play 7 games, you've got 500 to 900 per game out the coins you've managed to build up, and also you've just sold on that team for a profit, you should now have slightly more in which you can build a similar team using the exact same players again, but now you're buying them again for a fraction of the price, being cheaper below market value. Or you can go and buy a slightly better team, but yet again, you're trying to buy them below market value. You will then play another 7 games, giving you 500 to 900 coins per match, and then once their contracts have expired, you do the same thing again. You list them onto the transfer market. There is no part of this where you're not making coins. From you initially buying into the players, yes, it takes away, but you will be able to sell them for profit later. You'll then play in matches which are adding even more coins into your account, and then finally at the end of the week, once Sunday rolls around, you will then be getting your weekly rewards, which will add packs to your account ready for you to use those players, which make the second week even easier, or you can go and sell them on where you can build an even better team, but yet again, you're looking to buy them below market value. This is the most efficient way, not just to play through squad battles, but the most efficient way to play through Ultimate Team. It becomes a grind really early on, but it doesn't take long for this to really ramp up. Of course, at this stage of FIFA 23, it's not ideal to start this when going through division rivals. That's why it's part of this video for squad battles, because this is where it's as easy as possible, as you are able to select the difficulty when first going in. For this video, it's more aimed at the average player who's actually going through division rivals, foot champions, and then is using any time they have remaining to go through squad battles, and not so much looking to go and use squad battles to get within the top 100. For you to really compete and be the best of the best, you're gonna have to dedicate a lot of games to this game mode every single week. And you may not even have time to do anything else, especially if you have other things and other priorities within your life. So hopefully this is a video that can help you maximize your return when going through squad battles, no matter how many games you're playing. For most of you, you may not want to go to the most efficient way possible of buying players below market value to use in a team and then go through as many different games as possible. But you may want to start using some of the other players that you have in your club, which you've been able to pack from other various rewards throughout the year. They're not being used and you can get a lot more coins out them, squeezing every little penny, ready for them to be thrown into SBCs once they're done. But this is how you can get the most out of squad battles. This is the most efficient way to play. If you do have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.